So I used to do pet sales, not many to be honest, but maybe 1 or 2 a month. Now to be honest, I don't really do any. Or I do them very, very rarely with some caveats. My sales right now focus on show and meat, and I actually have a couple new clients that are reptile breeders. One's looking at breeding for their own purpose, and the other one buys a couple of quail chicks off of me every once in a while for their tree snake. And then also I have a couple of clients that are looking at dog food. But when it comes to pet sales, for now, the only way you'll get a pet off of me is if you have an in. Either your previous client that I absolutely love from before, be that a pet sale or be that a 4-H sale, or someone that I've sold to previously vouches for you. So for instance, if you come up to me and you're like, hey, you sold a rabbit to so-and-so, and then I talk to so-and-so, they vouch for them, and then I talk to the person looking at buying, and they are willing to follow my contracting care guides, all those kind of things. I have one pet family I absolutely adore, but even though they have 3 pet rabbits, they follow ARBA standard, and I talk to them at least on a weekly basis. I was talking to the mom, and she was saying that in the future they would love to get another rabbit off of me, and they were even thinking about getting into 4-H and showmanship as the girls got older, which I absolutely love, and I'm perfectly okay with selling to them again. But from now on, if somebody doesn't have an in, I probably won't. I haven't had too bad of experiences, thankfully, but I don't want to deal with pet people for the most part. I want to stay as far away from possible as anyone with an HRS mindset, and I just don't have the time to talk to people anymore that I don't know to kind of get an outside perspective to see if they are going to follow my care guides and properly take care of my rabbit. Not to mention in my contracting, I will take back any rabbit somebody can no longer care for, and they will be a perma pet in my house. Rabbits live like 8 to 10 years. And although I love my rabbits, I don't have the room to keep a perma pet or multiple perma pets for that long if I sell too many pets. So for now, I'm just sticking to show and meat, because I love that community, and I love 4-Hers, I love FFAers, I love showing at the ARBA shows. This community we have around here is amazing. So for now, I'm just okay with that. So the answer to this depends on the purpose of the buyer. And I have a couple examples to show you to kind of get you to understand, because it's kind of a complicated answer. So if I'm looking for selling a show prospect, the first thing I'm going to look at is that they meet the standard of perfection and that I myself would be happy to show them. So right here we have Le Pew and Strawberry Jr. Both of these babies have the potential to be show rabbits depending on how they grow out. I'll keep an eye on them, but both of them meet the standard of perfection, both in color and body type so far. But until they're a little older, 8 to 16 weeks, I won't know for sure, depending on their body type and how long their shoulders are. But if these two do meet the standard of perfection for that, I would happily sell them. The only reason I would look at selling them is they're both bucks, and I don't need a buck in my program right now for show, because I have Strawberry. So if these two meet the standard of perfection, I would happily sell them as show prospects. To be honest, as they grow out, I might take them to show myself and sell them at a show once they have gotten their first legs. I've done that quite often with quite a few of my mini racks. Now, if we compare meat sales, it's a little bit different. They don't need to meet the standard of perfection when it comes to coloration or off marks, but I need them to meet the standard of perfection when it comes to body type. And also I keep an eye on grow out rate. So in the instance of Frog and Toad here, if you look, one is a doe, one is a buck, they both have these off white marks on their nose, meaning they wouldn't make good show prospects because those white marks do not go away. With that being said, these two both have pretty good type and a pretty good grow out rate. So in the future, if they continue to have a good grow out rate and they continue to have a good body structure, I would look to selling them as meat prospects as long as they continued in their trend. And that's because I have a couple of buyers that are doing strictly meat animals and have no want or need to show them in the future. They just want good, sturdy meat animals with great type that will add to their meat breeding program. So in that instance, I would definitely make sure to tell them that, hey, these white marks will probably pass down through those lines and would create more unshowable animals. But since they are, small-time meat breeders, it shouldn't be a problem as long as these kits continue in their trend. At the end of the day, a meat animal doesn't need to completely meet the standard of perfection as long as they are serving their purpose to the customer. At the end of the day, I want to give out quality animals that serve the purpose of the buyer because that is what we are breeding them for. I would never sell toad or frog to a 4-H'er because it wouldn't meet the purpose. I'm gonna get shit for this. I know I'm gonna get shit for this. My pet care and my livestock care are almost identical. And that's because I follow the ARBA's standard guideline to raising rabbits because it is the best, most scientifically backed care there is. So Gigi gets a 1/4 cup of food a day per pound of body weight, unlimited access to water. He gets alfalfa hay, of course, but it's not the primary part of his diet. He gets about a handful just to kind of entertain him. And if he were to get overweight, that would go away and we'd focus more on pellets and controlling his feed. He gets more treats than our rabbits in the barn. He likes strawberries, but he gets about my thumbnail size. We don't do any kind of salads or gaseous vegetables. He likes toilet paper tube rolls to play with. We tried bell balls, but he doesn't really like them. He's also litter box trained. And in that litter box, there's a grate to get him up off of anything he were to do in that corner, and we will dump that out daily. And his cage is about double the size of what I would normally put a singleton in. So it's 2 foot by 4 foot instead of a 2 by 2. And he does get free roam time supervised. And that's because he lives in my daughter's room, and if my daughter is home, she has him out, and she just kind of lays and cuddles with him, and he doesn't really run around. He is quite the lazy bun. But we don't allow him to just do whatever he wants, and he doesn't get to chew on random things. He also has a few more luxury items compared to my livestock, but that's again because he's a pet. So yeah, my care is basically the same compared to the ARBA, compared to my pet standard. And that's because I want Gigi to be healthy and around for the longest time possible.
She had hundreds of rabbits. It felt like a horror movie.
Look, you say horror movie, I say dream come true. And it wasn't hundreds, it was only a few in the apartment that I was raising. It's not that big a deal. So we're in the middle of summer, I know this, but I am looking forward to fall, so let's talk about some winter care real quick. So I breed year-round. And that's because rabbits have the hardest time in the heat, but they do really well in the cold. So we actually breed more in the winter than we do the summer. And around here, we get down to -20 at night. And our barn doesn't have anything special. It's just 4 walls, a door, and a couple windows. And we won't add any supplementary heat. And the rabbits do very, very well in there. Now for nesting boxes, I do offer extra sawdust and hay so that the moms have a chance to build really nice nests. But we haven't had any babies chill in the nest. As long as they stay dry, they're perfectly fine. The only time we've ever had trouble is if a baby somehow gets pulled out of the nest by mom. But you don't want to add any supplementary heat to the babies. Don't add heat lamps, don't add warming pads. She wants to escape. Let mom do what she's supposed to do in building a nest. The only time I intervene in the winter is if a mom has a singleton kit, meaning there's only one in the nest. At that point, I will either put that singleton in with another litter, or if she is the only one that has babies in that time, I will shelf that baby in the house. And that's just because one baby in a nest can't provide the amount of heat it would need to keep itself warm, and they would get cold. So yeah, I really enjoy winters when it comes to raising rabbits. So shelving, quite simply, is taking the babies away from mom or taking the nest box out of the cage and keeping it in the house or in the barn away from them for a certain reason. I'll shelve babies in the summer if it's over 80 degrees. In the winter, I'll do it if it's a very small litter size or if I'm worried about mom uncovering them too much with hay and fur, or if I notice a doe is being particularly rough with her babies. Also my does that like to cannibalize, or any ones I'm worried about not doing well in the nest. So I just take the nest, I put it in my office. My office has a door so I don't have to worry about the cats, dogs, or kids. And then twice a day, I will take the nest back into mom and let her nurse her babies. If I have kits that are particularly small like runts or struggling, I might take them out to nurse 3 times a day. This just helps with survival rates of the kits, and it also helps when you are birthing animals in really hot, really cold weather, or you have really bad moms. So I have 7 of these adorable little chinchilla rex. The rest are over here. And they are 3 weeks old, so I was sexing them to see whether they are boys and girls. And y'all, take a guess on how many girls to boys I got. Go on, take a guess. I'll give you a second. All right, you've had your second. The answer is 7. All 7 are girls. I don't know what's in the water or what, but all of these little Rex kits are girls. That little Californian is also a girl, so I have a completely girl litter, and that is just weird. I also got a good weight on all of these, and they're averaging 14 ounces at 3 weeks. I'm pretty happy with that. And Chow Chow sleepy. So there are a couple solutions to the question that you pose. The question is, how many resources do you have? Do you want to start over, or are you willing to wait on a line? Now, when you say grow out fast, the question is, how long are your New Zealand's taking to get to 5 pounds? If it's taking them 8 to 12 weeks, that's about normal and pretty good. But if they're taking longer than that, then you would have to pose the question of what is going on with your grow outs. Are they receiving a high enough protein feed and enough of it? What are your ratios of feed to grow out? Is there an underlying problem going on, like worms or some kind of coccidiosis or something that could cause them to rapidly lose weight, or to lose enough weight to where you aren't seeing a turnaround in grow out? If there's nothing wrong on that front, then you have a couple other options. You can work on making your lines grow out faster by heavily culling them to make it to where you only keep the fastest, best growing animals. But that could take a while. And if your stock's really bad, it could cost you more in the long run. So if you have the capability and the resources, it might be worth it to buy brand new stock to start over. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you know my opinion on giants. If you haven't watched me for a while and you don't know my opinion on giants, I can always make another video.